Contrary to popular belief, the middleweight sports bike class isn't dead at all, it's just evolving. New entrants in the form of the Aprilia RS 660 and Yamaha R7 have breathed fresh life into a category that has in recent years bid farewell to fond classics like the R6, GSX-R600 and recently the ZX-6R Ninja. The problem with the old school supersports bikes was that for many buyers, a little more saving would mean that you could bag yourself a bigger, faster 1000cc machine instead. But that isn't the case today though, as a plethora of light, affordable and exciting midweight sports bikes have hit the market and are rejuvenating this once stagnant sector. Before we get into this video though, if you haven't already, please take a moment to hit that like button, and to stay up to date with all of Visordown's latest videos, give the subscribe button a tap. And if we missed anything off this list, drop a note in the comments below. Number 10. Honda CBR 650R. Picking up where the iconic CBR 600F left off, the Honda CBR 650R is fast, fun and affordable. Its baby blade looks are entirely intentional, as Honda looks to bridge the gap between this and the flagship CBR 1000 RRR. It has been a big success since its introduction, partly since it has literally no direct rivals. It's now the only 4-cylinder Japanese sports bike available at a budget price, but also because it comes armed with that legendary Honda reliability. If that's what you want, along with novice-friendly manners and practical all-rounder attributes, you won't be disappointed. Number 9. KTM RC390. It may be doing the business in MotoGP right now, but KTM has been without a proper sports bike in its range. However, KTM hasn't entirely abandoned its sports bike credentials, with the RC390 and smaller RC125 offering learner-legal thrills lower down the range. The RC390 is also due a refresh very soon, as a second generation model is waiting in the wings with tidied up looks, MotoGP styling and more generous kit levels. The modifications are less extensive under the skin, meaning a punchy 44 brake horsepower 375cc single can still be found in a dinky slimline chassis. Formerly limited by its tiny cramped ergonomics, the latest generation is far less compromising, yet remains a slingshot faster than almost anything down tight and twisty B-roads. Number 8. Kawasaki Ninja 650. Updated again for 2020, it's the latest incarnation of the machine which started life as the fared ER6F way back in 2005 that now boasts 67 brake horsepower. 3 significant revisions and a name change since, the Ninja 650 is, in broad terms, a slightly more mature, better equipped and sharper looking CBR 500R, with a slightly higher price tag to match. Its twin-cam 647cc parallel twin thrives on revs and remains the most popular basis for TT Mini Twins racers. While its chassis is nowhere near as sharp and sophisticated as the Kawasaki sadly discontinued ZX-6R Ninja, it can still be entertainingly hustled while still being practical and comfortable. Number 7. Yamaha R7. The Yamaha R6 is dead. Long live the Yamaha R7? Having initially resisted the purge sweeping across the supersport class that claimed its Suzuki and Triumph rivals, the axe finally came down on the brilliant but expensive R6 in 2020, with Yamaha scaling it back to a track-only race trim. However, Yamaha's rich R sports bike bloodline remains plentiful with the launch of the R7, which acts as its de facto replacement. The two are only loosely related, with the R7 best described as a warm sports bike, with its 682cc engine toning down the shrill with a modest but eager to please 72.3 brake horsepower, though it does a decent job of replicating its involving riding dynamics. And anyway, if those performance figures and the somewhat divisive design do spark a welling up of misty eyes, the R7's price tag of £8,200, some £4,000 cheaper than the R6, should dry those peepers pretty quickly. Number 6. Honda CBR 500R. Its engine may be packing 150cc less than the sister CBR 650R, but the sensibility and value of Honda's fantastic 500 platform dressed up as a mini Fireblade means the CBR 500R would be our pick of the mini sports bikes from Big Red. If anything, the two models occupy much of the same market space and, from a distance, are relatively hard to tell apart. While the CBR 650R offers 2 more cylinders than its younger brother, the CBR 500R is light and nimble enough to make the most of its twin-cylinder setup. Benefiting from being available to A2 license holders, the CBR 500R delivers the fun factor in droves and certainly looks the part, while the 47 brake horsepower engine is revvy and eager enough to encourage you to push on. Better still, the fact that it's £2,000 cheaper than its larger sibling makes the CBR 500R the no-brainer choice between the two in our eyes. Number 5. MV F3 800. If your mouth was already watering at the prospect of MV Agusta's simply gorgeous middleweight sports offering, the 675cc 3-cylinder F3, then take a load of this. Arriving a couple of years after the 675, the long-stroke 800cc version is actually a much more attractive and useful bike by virtue of its gruntier, more charismatic performance. Power is up to a healthy 148 brake horsepower from the 675's 126, along with an extra watch of meaty torque, which is very welcome. Other than that, the two exquisite pocket rockets are virtually identical, dual light styling and a tiny, focused chassis. On the road, the F3 800 boasts handling that'll run rings around virtually anything, and an involving, intoxicating middleweight sports experience that'll both delight and cause despair in equal measure. Number 4. Triumph Daytona Moto 2 765. It's a slightly contentious one here, because the Daytona is no more, and the Swansong Moto 2 765 is all sold out. But you really can't have a midweight sports bike top 10 without the Daytona, and the Moto 2 and its 765 engine surely was the best of the breed. Based on the already brilliant 675, it has an uprated 765cc engine, carbon fibre fairing, single seat unit, carbon front mudguard and hugger, and a machined and individually numbered top yoke plaque. Add that to a special TFT colour dash, new switchgear, electronic rider aids, a titanium arrow end can, and you have one seriously desirable middleweight machine. Although sold out at the factory, recent barely used examples are still available, if you have the funds to acquire one, that is. Number 3. Ducati Supersport S. Is it a sports tourer or a true midweight sports bike? Well, we don't care, because the little Ducati Supersport 950 is bloody brilliant, and on the road at least, is almost all the sports bike you'll ever truly need. Its handling is sublime, comfort exceptional, and there's even room for a pillion and some luggage. And that's not something you can say about many other bikes on this list. Number 2. Aprilia RS 660. Few motorcycles have generated as much buzz as the Aprilia RS 660 in recent years, so when we finally got our chance to throw a leg over it at the official press launch, let's just say there was hype. It really is a bike that deserves to stand in its own unique place, and one that could well inspire other manufacturers to shuffle things closer to its low-weight, responsive, usable power and exceptional handling model. Aprilia also raised the bar a little further with the RS 660 by cramming in all manner of clever tech to make its RS V4 big brother proud. There is a lot riding on the RS 660 because it is spawning a whole family of models, including a Tuono Naked and Touareg ADV. But Aprilia can be safe in the knowledge it's not only nailed this one, but it might have just saved the entire class altogether. Number 1. Ducati Panigale V2. For those riders hankering after a true middleweight sports bike in the classical sense, the Panigale V2 is simply unstoppable. And this is a true Panigale in every sense. The handling is mind-blowing, the spec level is next level, and when you leave the track and hit the public road, it's not so mind-meltingly fast that you can't enjoy it on the Queen's Highway either. It's also nearly £5,000 less than its V4 sibling, meaning it succeeds in putting enough space between the stepping stone and the flagship model. It truly is the bike that rules the roost in the new breed of middleweight sports motorcycles. If you liked that video, please don't forget to drop us a like, and to stay up to date with all of the latest videos from Visordown, please give the subscribe button a tap. And if we missed your choice of middleweight sports bike off the list, let us know in the comments below.